Hey guys, it's S0ur, and I thought I'd talk a bit about Advanced Warfare. It's something a lot of people are doing. I'll be going over some of the parts of the game that I found interesting and give some of my first impressions and personal thoughts, and then at the end of the video, I'll go over what you can expect from me in terms of Advanced Warfare videos. Spoiler alert, probably not a whole lot, but I'll cover that when I get there. This gameplay, by the way, consists of 2 games that I recorded back-to-back from the midnight launch livestream that I did with some friends. I wasn't super picky choosing gameplay, but I think these were some good games. That's also why the quality is 720p 60 FPS, as that's what I stream at, otherwise it would be 1080 of course. So onto Advanced Warfare. I wasn't really super hyped to get the game, as in I was interested and I was following all the news. It looked cool and I wanted to play it, but I wasn't really aboard the whole CoD hype train thing where it's a big deal just because it's CoD. That being said, I wasn't on the other side of the ongoing stale CoD argument where it's cool to hate on CoD. Honestly, I'm quite bored with that whole debate. Seriously, if you don't like where Call of Duty went as a franchise, just don't buy it, play another game. You don't have to try to tear down the franchise. When people do that, it seems like perhaps they got bored of the game and left, and then they got jealous and annoyed that not everyone else in the world got bored and left at the exact same time they did, so they feel the need to enlighten people. Don't you see? This game isn't fun. I'll help you see what a bad game this is. It's ridiculous. You can't tell someone they don't like something. That statement in itself is an oxymoronic paradox. It contradicts itself. It's ridiculous. So I don't really care what the negative people want to say about Call of Duty being dead or whatever, although I'm actually seeing a lot of positivity around this game. People saying it's much better than Ghost, it's the best Call of Duty since Black Ops 1. Anyway, simply because the game looked like it might be fun, I did pick it up on the day 0 launch at 9 PM PST, and I did a big marathon live stream with Monkey and Laundry starting around 9:30 when I got home. We ended at some crazy early time in the morning around 4:30, and I must say, I did enjoy the game. It was a fun time. It of course didn't blow my mind, it's just an entertaining, semi-mindless shooter, but it was a lot of fun. My first game was not great. I had no idea what I was doing, and I held a 1-bar ping the entire time. I think I went 8 and 9. It was a terrible disgrace, but thankfully that was one of my only negative games all night. In the next couple games, I got the hang of it. The exo movement stuff really isn't hard to get used to. Perhaps to master it'll take some time, but I'm already perfectly comfortable with the movement, and the exo stuff really adds a lot to how the game plays. I really like it. I'm sure in a week or two it'll be second nature, and going back to any older CoD will feel super weird, but for now it's a blast. Ha, get it? Because the exo blast and the blast suppressor and stuff. Okay, another thing I've liked is almost everything to do with the class setups and the menus. The pick 13, the score streak customization, the unlocks being earned through challenges. I know some people prefer the CoD point system of buying your unlocks, but I actually don't mind the challenges. All that's really cool. The supply drops are a really fun dynamic. I think I'm starting to understand how you get them, but I'll wait to make sure before sharing that. Anyway, there's just a lot of cool stuff in this game. On a somewhat related note, because I was talking about menus, at first I found the menus quite annoying to navigate, like when I'm in the virtual lobby trying to go between players and then back to yours and customize some piece of armor. That did not seem intuitive at all, so that's a bit frustrating, but really no big deal. And I'm usually pretty good at figuring things out and learning quickly, but anyway, I'm sure I'll get used to it. I can't think of any other specific examples of stuff I've liked so far. I've only really played multiplayer TDM up to around rank 30, so there's so much more to experience in the game. The ranked playlists could be cool. There's the co-op mode, which doesn't really excite me, like many people will agree, but I can see myself playing some of it, even if it's just to achievement hunt when I'm bored. And then there's the campaign, which I'm honestly quite looking forward to playing. I haven't looked forward to a CoD campaign pretty much ever. For every CoD game from CoD 4 to Black Ops 2, I basically played the multiplayer first for a couple weeks, then as that became less new and exciting and a bit more of a grind, I went back and played through the campaign, and that pattern continued until Ghosts, where I played one campaign mission and forgot that it existed until the summer just a few months ago, when the PSN was down and I didn't have my PC, so I played through the entire campaign because I ran out of things to do. But I'm really looking forward to this campaign. There's been a lot of hype, and I have high hopes. It looks awesome and cinematic, and seems to have an interesting plot, and I think it will be cool. Oh yeah, and Kevin Spacey. Everyone knows it's all about Kevin Spacey. So, I haven't really gotten into the negatives yet, and I do have a few, although for the most part, it's just the kind of person I am that I'm pretty forgiving with a lot of the stuff that people might complain out the ass about, like, oh, this is bullshit, oh, this is OP, blah blah, so much lag. I'm usually just fine with it and work around it, but there are a couple faults in the game that, in my opinion, stick out, and one is some of the questionable spawns. I have yet to be full-on angry at a spawn location, but I've seen enemies spawn while I'm aiming down sights and gotten some easy kills that way, and it's never really a good sign when you see the enemies pop into existence. and I've actually never seen that happen in Ghost, which I will admit had worse spawns than Advanced Warfare has so far, but the spawns might be a bit of a problem. I know monkeys spawned on grenades before, we've both been spawn killed extremely quickly sometimes, so that's a thing. It's hard to complain about because obviously the developers aren't idiots. If it was an easy fix, they'd have it done. But the issue can be troublesome. I'd attribute the problem not so much to a bad spawning system, but more to the map configuration and the extreme mobility that you have with the EXO. It allows you to sometimes get spawn killed without having much of a chance because of how fast people can traverse the maps and even boost into the air to see someone spawn in over a building or something like that. So spawning hasn't been a huge problem for me yet, but it seems like it could be. But I only have 3 hours in game, so what do I know? We'll see how things develop. The second problem I have is to some extent the weapon balancing. Before the launch of the game, they were talking a lot about how they wanted to balance every class with each other. Obviously, everyone would hope that would be the case. But it's not an easy task, and it seems like it didn't work out very well at all. I've noticed, and everyone seems to agree, that this game is an assault rifle dominant game. It just is. They're very powerful, very accurate, they have no idle sway for some reason, and they can outgun almost everything else because of the medium to long lines of sight on most maps. Snipers are as difficult to use as they've ever been, with everyone boost jumping and dashing around. You can have success with sniper rifles, but most of the time I could be doing just as well with an assault rifle in that situation. The heavy weapons can be useful, but are mostly quirky and not viable. The SMGs are alright, but can be outgunned by some ARs like the Bal 27 in close quarters, and are of course difficult to use at a range. And shotguns have their niche, but are only really useful as an overkill secondary weapon in my opinion, because it's tough to keep all of your engagements in close quarters in this game. I will admit shotguns are power in some objective modes like Hardpoint. I know I have one of those elite TAC-19s, the Sledgehammer, and that can be awesome in objective modes, but assault rifles seem to have the advantage 90% of the time, and you can tell because that's all everyone's using. It doesn't really bother me. I don't mind building a strategy around that fact, just making a bunch of assault rifle centric classes, a couple for GDM, one for S&D, one for Hardpoint, stuff like that. But it's clearly not what they intended when they were balancing the classes, so I'd expect to see some patches with nerfs and buffs to be coming shortly, but we'll see. Right now, I'm loving the IMR and the HBRA3, probably the two best weapons so far according to me. On a related but different topic, it seems like to some extent they didn't fully predict just how fast the game would play and how close some of the encounters and gunfights would be. I say this because of how hard it is to get the woodland camo, of all things. We often mock that in streams. Why in the world is gold the easiest camo to get, and woodland is near impossible? You get woodland, by the way, by getting 500 long shot medals with the weapon, and with assault rifles, that basically never happens. I have 3 hours of in-game time, and for a lot of that, I've been using the HBR3, and so far, I have 1 long shot medal. I'm just never that far away when I get in a gunfight, so if I need 500 of these, assuming I've been using the HBR for 2 of the 3 hours played, I need to log, what, upwards of 1,000 hours in the game? Right, so that's a little crazy. Anyway, that's the core of what I have to say. Those are some of the things that stick out in my memory as being awesome and not so awesome. To summarize my opinion, from what I've played so far, Advanced Warfare is a blast. I think I'm going to enjoy playing the multiplayer with friends for a while. I think this game will have a slightly longer lifespan than games in the recent past, with the overall new feel it has, with the dynamic menus and the new sound effects. It really is a leap in the CoD franchise, and I definitely look forward to playing through and experiencing the campaign as well. So here at the end of the video, I said I'd talk about my plans relating to Advanced Warfare videos here on the channel, and like I said at the beginning, there probably won't be a whole lot. I think I'll be playing it somewhat casually because I don't have a whole lot of spare time in my life right now. I've got several independent projects going on that take up a lot of my time, so I simply can't take the time to rapidly produce stuff like strategy and tip videos. If I had the time, I'd love to, but alas, I cannot, especially because with tip videos, there's also an element of being the first to say something or the first to give a tip, because there are tons of people on YouTube that do that very same thing, so I can't exactly be competing to be the first to say something when I'm operating on my time budget. If I discover something that I think is amazing and it hasn't been said anywhere, or if I get something epic in a supply drop, I don't know, perhaps you'll see a video from me. But otherwise, I'll be focusing on my other endeavors in Minecraft and my academics and so on. But live streams over on Twitch will continue, that's for sure. So thank you for watching. Definitely let me know what you think about the game if you have it, or what you're thinking, or what your thoughts are if you don't know whether you're going to pick it up or not. And I will catch you next time.